friends, this video is part 1 of odontogenic keratocyst discussing what and why of OKC. Part 2 will be learning to draw histopathological diagram of this lesion. If you have understood the theory part well, drawing should be very simple. Let's start with odontogenic keratocyst. Odontogenic keratocyst term was coined by Philipson in the year 1956 when he was just a senior dental student while learning under Jens J. Pindborg in Copenhagen. It was previously called as cholesteatoma. Very commonly, this lesion occurs in the mandible in ramus and third molar region, and it is mostly a solitary lesion, but it can happen in multiple sites in association with syndromes such as nevoid basal cell carcinoma syndrome, also known as Gorlin-Goltz syndrome. This syndrome also has a few other features such as bifid rib, calcifications in the falx cerebri, hypertelorism, flattened basal portion of the nose, and very importantly, multiple basal cell carcinomas along with multiple OKCs. So this is the syndrome associated OKC. Very important, very characteristic feature of OKC is its large size before it is being diagnosed. And another important feature is tendency to recur. Especially the OKCs that occur in the angle of the mandible, at the angle of the mandible, show high tendency to recur, and the reasons for recurrence we will be learning when we deal with the histopathology of this disease. Because of its large size and its high tendency to recur, this cyst was classified as keratocystic odontogenic tumor in the 2005 classification. However, this was brought back to the category of cysts in 2017 classification. Now let's understand the pathogenesis of odontogenic keratocyst, meaning which cells give rise to this lesion. Here it can be arising from any cells. Here the first one is the basal offshoots of the oral ectoderm. So here the extensions, basal extensions of the oral ectoderm can give rise to odontogenic keratocyst, or it can arise from the dental lamina cells or the rests of it, that is cell rests of Serre. This OKC can also occur because of the degeneration of the stellate reticulum cells in the enamel organ and form cyst in place of a tooth, which was previously known as primordial cyst, coined by Robinson. Now it actually belongs to the replacemental type of OKC. It's not called as primordial cyst anymore. Next we will be talking about a concept of cyst called as follicular keratocyst, also known as Altini-Cohen cyst, where a tooth which is surrounded by its follicle will erupt into a pre-existing OKC. So here is an OKC into which this tooth has erupted, where you will be seeing most of this lining as OKC lining, uniform thickness and all that, and only near the area of the tooth you will be seeing the follicular epithelium. So this kind of cyst is called as the follicular keratocyst. Let's quickly go through the radiographic variants of OKC. Here there are many varieties. Radiographically they are called as collateral type, replacemental type, envelopmental type and extraneous type. Collateral type, when the OKC occurs between the two teeth, we call it as collateral type of OKC. Now a replacemental type is, here you can see that there is missing first molar, so here is the cyst in place of a tooth. So that is called as replacemental type of OKC, previously called as primordial cyst. Now we have envelopmental type of OKC, where the entire OKC is engulfing the tooth. So tooth is inside a cystic cavity of OKC. It's called as envelopmental type of OKC. Now OKC occurring in the ramus in a large size is called as extraneous type of OKC. So these are the 4 variants radiographically that we see in OKC. Let's understand the histopathologic features of OKC. OKC, just like any other cyst, has an epithelial lining, a connective tissue wall and a lumen. So the epithelium, odontogenic epithelium, lines the lumen around which you have the connective tissue component, which is a thin fibrous connective tissue wall. Now the epithelium is characteristically thrown into folds, because of which there is quite a bit of recurrence in OKC that we see. And this epithelium is of uniform thickness and it does not show reterate formation, and the epithelium and connective tissue interface is very fragile. Again, epithelium keeps sloughing away, and because of which there is recurrence in OKC. So these are the few recurrences, reasons for the recurrence in OKC. Now the content of the lumen and the fibrous connective tissue we will be discussing as we speak in the details of the histopathology. Now coming to the epithelium again, you can see that epithelium has 3 characteristic features, that is the surface keratinization is thrown into ripples or corrugation, it's called as. Especially the parakeratinized type of OKC, we see such a arrangement of keratin on the surface, it's very characteristic. Whereas in orthokeratinized, we see it as scales or fish scale kind of arrangement in orthokeratinized OKC. So this is ortho, this is parakeratinized OKC, surface keratinization. Now the epithelium is around 6 to 10 layers thick, and the basal cells show palisading of cells, meaning on the surface the cells are arranged perpendicular to the surface and parallel to each other, something which resembles picket fence. As you can see in this photo here, all these sticks are parallel to each other and perpendicular to the surface. So this is palisading, and also the nuclei show palisading in the sense all the nuclei are at the same level in the cytoplasm. So this is nuclear palisading. We can also, this has been compared to the tombstones. Here again the palisading arrangement you can see. We see that there are no reteridges, that is another characteristic feature of OKC. And when there is inflammation in the connective tissue, all these changes, all these characteristic features will be gone. That is, the keratinization will be gone when there is inflammation, which is loss of keratinization, and retipex will be formed if in case this connective tissue is inflamed. So these are the characteristic features in epithelium. Now coming to the connective tissue wall. The connective tissue wall contains, it's made up of thin fibrous capsule containing satellite cysts or daughter cysts. So they are the lining of the daughter cysts are similar to the lining that we see in the primary epithelium which lines the lumen, and keratin filled inside. Sometimes they are just cystic spaces. So these daughter cysts arise from the basal offshoots of the epithelium, oral epithelium, or they can arise from the infoldings of OKC. And what does this lumen contain? This lumen can contain anything from straw colored fluid to a thick creamy material, and this thick creamy material is generally made up of keratin, cholesterol, or it can also contain hyaline bodies. And very characteristically, the soluble protein content is very low, that is less than 4 milligrams per 100 ml compared to the serum, patient serum. So this is again characteristic feature of OKC compared to any other inflammatory cyst, which is because of the inflammation there is exudation of protein into the cystic lumen, which is absent in case of OKC. How do we treat OKC? There are 2 methods. One is marsupialization, when the OKC cyst is very in close proximity to a vital structure. If not, it is enucleation to ensure complete removal, because the recurrence is quite high with OKC. Now in the next video we will be learning how to draw the histopathologic diagram of OKC. Thank you.